Hello and welcome to the latest episode of the Belzona podcast, your go-to podcast for all things coatings and engineering. My name is Richard Bywater, and today we will be discussing rain erosion and the impact that it is having on the wind industry. So to do that, I'm joined by two very special guests. Later in the episode, I'll be joined by one of our distributors, Paul from Beltec in Norway, who's going to take us through the practical applications of the issue. But first, I'm very happy to say that I'm joined by my colleague, Mr. Alexander Murillo, who's going to take us through the basics of the problem. Alex, welcome. Absolute pleasure to have you. Do you want to start just by telling the listeners a little bit about yourself and a little bit about your experience at Belzona?
Okay. First of all, hello everybody. Great to have you here. My name is Alex Murillo. I'm the distributor and technical support manager for Belzona here in the Americas. Been here for about a little bit over 6 years now, right? And my current role is as manager is I manage the team of engineers and technicians here in the Americas to give all type of technical support to distributor network and to customers also on everything that's Belzona products and Belzona solutions.
Fantastic. So this work, is this kind of caused you to work a lot within the wind industry?
Well, within the wind industry, it actually started when I started with Belzona a couple of years ago. We did have wind solutions, wind power solutions, but they kind of gave it to me to try to give some support to it. So about 5 years ago, I initially started developing kind of a support strategy with the leading edge protection solutions that we had during that time. And leading edge protection is basically blade erosion that happens on the leading edge of the turbines. It's actually one of the most critical problems in the market. And then after I worked with that, then looked into other solution areas that we have, specifically shaft repair, concrete rebuild, transformer leaks, and all other basic maintenance needs in the wind industry that we could offer, correct? Yeah. And then recently, we've just evolved over the years. We've gotten we've gotten involved a lot more in the wind industry. We've done very well, and we just helped develop in the last couple of years the new leading edge protection coating called Belzona 5721, and the new leading edge rebuild, because it's one thing the coating versus the rebuild. The rebuild is to actually rebuild the contour of the blade, and that's Belzona 5711, and all that information, just so you know, and all the products we're going to have available in Clean Power Expo coming up right now, 2021 in December. It got canceled and blocked and rescheduled about 3 times because of COVID, but we're finally there, and it's going to be December 2021, Salt Lake City. Beautiful city, beautiful environment,
Excellent.
Beautiful Salt Lake. Okay.
Brilliant. So that's a big exhibition that you guys over there in the States are going and exhibiting in and being a part of later this year. So fantastic. Okay. So the episode today, we're here to talk about the problem of rain erosion within the industry, and how it's kind of impacted the industry and its development. Best place to start with this is, could you explain to us and the listeners exactly what is rain erosion?
Okay, so rain erosion specifically in the wind industry, I mean, it happens a lot, but specifically in the wind industry, it's the repeated high velocity impact of rainwater droplets on the leading edge of the wind turbine blades, right? So rain's going to come down from the clouds. You got your rain clouds, and you got your turbine rotating at very high speeds, correct? Especially on the leading edge. And the rain, of course, hits the whole turbine tower, the whole turbine, but that leading edge is the critical part. The leading edge, in most of these new turbines, the tips are going at about 180, 200 miles an hour. Sorry, you could do the conversion kilometers per hour over here in the States, and you know how we manage things here, right? And at these speeds, the water droplets and the leading edge impact with considerably high energy, right? So that energy after time is just going to start eroding that leading edge area, especially where you have the higher velocities, and it's considerably going to damage the blade over time. So that's really the problem. The rain droplets come in at high velocity, you have high velocity impact, and you get the erosion on the leading edge of the blades over time.
Okay. So why is this such an important issue? Why is it such a problem in the industry?
I mean, honestly, man, this is almost the most critical problem in the industry from a maintenance point of view, correct? I mean, over time, once you've had so much impact, you're gonna lose a lot of material on that leading edge, and what happens is you're gonna lose your original aerodynamic design, right?
Okay.
The blades are designed a certain way to keep efficiency, get as much flow of the air, and convert it to energy as best as possible, correct?
Yeah.
When you have that loss of aerodynamic design and material, what's going to happen is that your rotation is not going to be efficient. You're going to have vibrations, and you're going to have a loss of efficiency of energy output, basically. Whatever energy you're supposed to get from the wind, you're going to lose a lot of that energy that you normally would. And that's one of the initial problems, right? That's going to give you a reduction, honestly, on your annual energy production. So you're going to lose money there because you're not producing the energy you were expecting to produce, right?
Yeah.
And in some cases, when you have severe cases of leading edge erosion, you could lose up to 25% of that energy production on a turbine.
Yeah.
So 25%, I mean, imagine your bottom line, you're basically losing money, right? So that's a big problem from an energy savings point of view or an energy production point of view. The other problem that it has is that it actually affects the rest of the components in the nacelle. The nacelle is the big white, let's say, box on top that where you have your shaft, you have your gears, you have everything. Once you have all these vibrations happening because of the turbine blades, and that's kind of the heavier component, it's gonna affect the rest of the nacelle components. It could damage them. And you could have to stop your turbine, right? And then there's catastrophic cases where the wind blades are so eroded that they just start breaking apart in midair when you have high thunderstorms or high winds. It could affect it. So it's a pretty bad problem.
Wow. Okay. So how has it affected the wind industry in general then?
I mean, it's really greatly affected it because in the first sense, of course, it's affecting your annual energy power output, right? It's affecting your bottom line, number one, right? On top of that, it created a great maintenance problem for the wind farms and the wind industry itself because they really didn't expect it to be that aggressive, or didn't really expect it initially, right? It's been almost a reactive approach to it, right? So of course, it's going to create extra costs. It's going to create extra downtime and extra preventive leading edge erosion maintenance schedules, right? And it's probably the single most critical maintenance issue in the wind industry today.
Okay, so what is being done to help reduce the impacts on this problem?
I mean, there really isn't one agreed to solution. There's a lot of different companies trying a lot of different things, right? There's various types of leading edge protection solutions in the market. From tapes to different coatings, right? And they're going to vary a lot of times in chemical makeup and application method. They may be different. There actually may be different rain erosion requirements depending on your geographic location, depending local governments, or even state governments. The European governments have a certain requirements versus the U.S. Testing is different. Testing might be more strict or more aggressive when you're looking for coating for wind turbines that are out in the ocean versus the ones that are out on land or smaller turbines. So so you start by there, right? You start by choosing right product, going through proper testing, see how the product actually performs, and then relate that to what it could actually do in the field. And also a big problem is that these are very big towers, very big blades and turbines. It's not easy to apply these products, correct? So you're gonna have another logistical issue, which is you could either put them in the factory or you could put them out in the field in situ, and that's gonna bring two big problems because a lot of products that are complicated to apply and may be really good at protecting leading edge erosion are very complicated to apply. So you could only apply them on the factory setting, right? they're nonsensical to be able to be applied in the field. So you have a lot of these issues, and then another thing is that you're actually the ones that are actually applied in the field. Then you have all the environmental factors that are affecting you, right? First, the logistical factors. How are you gonna use? What are you gonna use? Are you gonna use platform trucks? If you can't use platform trucks, ropes. There's some sort of elevator type of systems, right? So you're gonna have rain. You're gonna have wind. After a certain speed of wind, you have to stop all type of work on the turbines. So these are some of the solutions that are or maintenance practices that are being applied, but they're all very challenging, right? So
Yeah.
it's a problem. You have temperature, you have rain, you have everything that affects you basically when you're trying to do the repair out in the field.
Okay. Okay, interesting. So it sounds like you're saying that there's a lack of kind of standardization, not only in the kind of regulations and testing, but also in terms of the solutions that are there to kind of tackle this problem.
And the solution is because a lot of companies will offer a product, and it's like everything. Most people don't want to add to the bottom line and time of manufacturing, so they kind of brush it off. A lot of times, manufacturers also they just sell their wind turbines. It's kind of not their problem after a couple of years, right? So they don't want to add to their bottom line. So it ends up being the asset owner's problem or the farm owners, wind farm owner's problem, and then you're offered a product, and a lot of times the product is not suitable to be applied in the field, right? So I mean, there are solutions, but it's not a consensus yet on an actual solution that fits all, basically, right?
Okay. And in terms of rain erosion in general, is this looking to go away anytime soon, or is this expected to continue to grow as a problem?
I think this is a growing problem. And the problem is going to grow along with the growth of the newer turbines. The newer turbines, they're just getting bigger. The bigger they are, the more area they can cover and the more energy they could pull out of the air, right? Especially and of course, the bigger they are, the more speed you're going to have on the leading edge and on the tips of those turbines, right? And it's going to create a more aggressive erosive environment. That's especially true for the turbines in the sea, correct? Those are the ones that are really the largest ones, the ones that are being put on the largest scale. You have a lot of wind, you have a lot of space to be able to put these turbines out there, right? And that's the problem. The problem is some of these blades are 370 feet long, just the blade, and that's the size of an American football field. So on one blade. So imagine how large those are, right? So they're getting bigger. You have aggressive environments. It's only going to get just more aggressive, right? I mean, of course, with that, we're hoping that the technology is going to keep up, and we could try to help mediate some of these issues. But even then, with good leading edge erosion coatings, still after 2 or 3 years, even from a factory application point of view, 2 or 3 years later, they start getting eroded. So you're going to have to go on and fix them at one point anyways, right?
Yeah.
Another thing is that, you're seeing this in turbines that are out in the field. A lot of old turbines are coming out of their life cycle. You're putting up new farms. So, I mean, these are just issues that you're going to have in the long term. And I don't really think it's a matter of, is this a growing problem? I think this is just what it is. It's just going to be basic maintenance required in the future, no matter what. It has to be planned in. I don't think it's an issue that you're going to fix with one magical coating or one amazing solution. I think it's just going to be, the industry is just going to have to be prepared to lower the impact and, work with technology and more modernized maintenance practices to be able to at least control the problem.
Brilliant. Alex, thank you very much. Really appreciate you and your input today.
Okay, thank you very much. Great to be here, and hello to everybody.
Thank you very much, Alex. We're now going to go to the next part of the episode where we're going to talk to one of our distributors, Mr. Paul Falch. who's going to give us his insight and experience to the practical side of rain erosion and what that means to his customers.
Yeah, my name is Paul Falk. I've been with Beltec now for close to 5 years.
Okay.
Beltec in Norway have been in operation approximately 15 years. We changed name from Can Technologies to Beltec Solutions 3.5 years ago. Alf, my colleague, he has been in the company close to 15 years. Basically, it's just the two of us serving Norway. Historically, oil and gas, onshore and offshore, have been the main market, so to say. But also we do quite a lot into the marine section and general industry in general. And now also the last 2 years we have been working towards various wind parks. We have quite a lot of wind parks in Norway, and starting to be, we don't do a lot at the moment, but we are on board with 2 wind parks, serving them now for the 2nd year. They are very happy with the products we provide, and the wind park industry in Norway is quite small, so they all talk together.
Okay.
So we deliver 110% service to the 2 wind parks we have on board, and they talk to the other parks, and we have had some questions from other wind parks, so hopefully the business will pick up in the years to come.
Excellent. Okay. So you mentioned some of the kind of services and applications that Beltec offer. Is that kind of just technical advice, that obviously the products that you guys provide as well for the Norwegian region?
Yeah, in general, we do not perform any applications ourselves. We basically sell the products to the end user or the contractor in between. And it is in general the contractors who does the application. We have, on some jobs, we have been there as supervisors, but it is the contractor who is responsible for performing the job.
Okay, great. So obviously, today's episode is we're discussing rain erosion and the problems associated to rain erosion in leading edge protection for wind turbine blades. From a kind of practical sense, why is rain erosion such a problem for your customers?
Number one, we have quite a lot of rain in Norway.
Yeah.
No,
good point. Very good point.
Norway is it's not a big country, but from the southern part to up north, it's 2.5 hours flying.
Yes, okay.
Up north, we have the most northern wind park in the world, basically. They have extremely harsh conditions in 6 months of the year.
Yeah.
And here down south, one park we have on board, Lista, it's very close to the North Sea, of course. Mm-hmm. Extremely much strong winds and bad weather. And rain erosion is a very big problem for them, for the leading edge on the blades, of course.
Yeah.
It creates a lot of damages to the blades.
Yeah, okay. So actually, you mentioned the most northerly wind park in the world, and just through our previous conversations, that's something that we tried to go and visit, I think, a couple of years ago, or we were certainly talking about. That's actually in the Arctic Circle, isn't it?
Yeah, it's 1 hour drive from the North Cape.
Wow.
So it is extremely harsh conditions up there.
Yeah. Okay. So what are the practical consequences and the practical challenges that rain erosion is throwing up for these wind parks and these?
Number one for the 2 wind parks we have on board is they have a lot of wear and tear on the leading edge. It's leading to loss in production, of course, and also they have to do quite a lot of maintenance every year, and they have quite a limited number of months where they can do the maintenance due to the weather.
Okay.
High winds, etc. So they were looking for a solution that could provide better protection over a longer time period.
Okay. So a bit more of a larger weather window for application,
Yeah, and also to have a leading edge solution that instead of doing maintenance every second or third year, they could postpone the maintenance service period up to quite a longer time span.
Yeah. Okay. So you mentioned some of the consequences there being this loss of it's AEP, isn't it, or kind of energy production. There's a financial kind of figure that you can attach to that, I suppose, isn't it, in terms of...
Yeah. There are some reports out there saying in percent energy production loss from 5% up to 10, 15 maybe. But of course it varies. But the main problem for them is when they have this heavy rain erosion, you have a lot of damages to the blades, and if you do not fix it within a certain period, you might get some damages on the construction in the blade, so to say.
Okay,
So they need to fix it as soon as they can, so the damage do not become even bigger.
Yeah, okay. And you've mentioned obviously the very harsh conditions up in Norway. You mentioned rain, but obviously snow, I can imagine as well, is a bit of a challenge.
Yeah, snow and what do you call it? The ice, hail? Is that what you call it?
Hail, yeah, sleet, and
Yeah, for example, the wind park at Lista, which is down south in Norway, this summer they have had the opportunity to use a lift not more than 20-25 days.
Okay, right.
Due to heavy wind.
Right, because also wind is obviously a factor for these repairs as well then.
Yeah, of course, because at Lista they use a lift. It goes up to 55-60 meters, and they are not allowed to use it if the wind is stronger than 8-9 meters per second.
Yeah. Okay.
And that's not too much, but 8 meters per second is not heavy wind.
No.
But of course, when you're on a lift 60 meters up, you get quite a lot of movement.
Okay. Okay,
so that's also limits the time period where they can do maintenance.
Yeah. Okay.
And then, of course, if you have no wind, but then you have rain again, so the weather window is quite small actually.
Okay. Oh, so kind of there's a number of factors here then to kind of consider when you're looking at the repair, to do this type of repair then. And it's interesting that you're saying that it's not just something that you can just go and repair any time of the year. It sounds like there's quite a small period that contractors can go out, especially in your region.
Yeah, as I said, the two parks we have on board, they are down south in Norway, and basically they plan to start the maintenance from April and continue until beginning of September. But then you have the weather in between, so they need to have the right conditions in order to do the maintenance.
Okay, brilliant. Okay, so we've spoken about some of the challenges that this rain erosion issue is throwing up. Why are your customers then? Why are they interested in an LEP solution, and what can kind of you offer in terms of Belzone products to address that?
When Belzona launched 5721 a couple of years ago, we started a marketing campaign addressing the wind park directly. Sent a lot of information. Of course, in the beginning we didn't get too much response, but we kept going with sending information and calling.
Yeah.
In the end, one of the operation managers at Jæren, one of the wind parks, it turned out that he had been working in an offshore service company before.
Okay.
And he knew about Belzona.
Okay, good.
So when he realized that, it is the same same kind of company, then he at the end said yes to a meeting.
Yeah.
We went up there, Alf and myself, we did a general presentation and talked a lot about the products and explained as good as we could the benefit of 5721 compared to what he used before.
Yeah.
He got actually very interested. We agreed to set up a live demo of the product.
Yeah.
We actually in our warehouse made some small dummies of a blade.
Okay.
out of old wrapping products. So in order for us to have a kind of profile that looked like a blade, we took a grinder and created some various damages into the structure. Then we went up there and had a demo for him and his team to show the ease of use and how to use the product, and then basically they said, yes, we would like to try this.
Okay. Do you know what? Just for everybody on our YouTube channel who'll be watching this, I think we actually be able to put some pictures of because I know I've seen some pictures of the.
I think you have. I have sent you some pictures, but if you need more, let me know. I'll send you more pictures.
We'll put them in the show notes. Yes, that's the right terminology. Sorry, we'll put them in the show notes so people can see on the YouTube channel. But sorry, can continue.
And then after we had the first meeting and demo from our side, then he agreed to, okay, let's go for a try.
Yeah.
We created even more dummies, leading edge.
Yeah.
And we went up there and we had a full training course at their premises where we went through everything about the product, how to make a nice surface, and then 5721 on top.
Excellent.
How to mix it, HMS, various things we had to cover, and how to apply it.
Okay, so it's kind of an introduction to exactly what 5721 is.
We started with a couple of hours of presentation, going through the data blades, how to use everything around the product, and then we went down to the workshop where we divided all of the guys up there in teams of 2. Yeah. They got each one of the dummy leading edge, and then we went through the whole process of mixing the material, preparation, applying the product.
Okay.
Let the product cure out, and then we took on second coat.
Okay.
And then and then they went all in basically with 5721.
Brilliant.
And now they have used it for the second year, and what they say so far, both at Jæren and on Lista, is that the product is very good, still perfect conditions after, now it's 2.5 years since they first put it on the first blade, and both Lista and Jæren have now moved to 5721.
Fantastic. So just for the listeners who might not be familiar with Belzona 5721, could you just give a brief description of the basics of it? What kind of fundamentally it is? For example, it's a coating product, but just elaborate from there.
5721 is a coating for leading edge protection. Yeah. Comes in 2 colors, white and gray. It comes in quite a good volume kind of box, so it's easy to bring up in a lift. You can mix it when you're up there in a lift or by rope. Mm-hmm. It's easy to apply. You get a very nice and smooth surface. And compared to some other products out there, 5721 is not 100% solid, so it absorbs some of the energy. Mm-hmm. And that's probably one of the key factors for the long lifespan of 5721.
Yeah. And also, it's quite interesting because I know we've worked together quite a lot on some of these types of applications, and certainly work in the wind industry. But it's interesting that when the product was designed, it's been designed to be an in situ applied product, hasn't it? Whereas it can be applied, in a factory, in a kind of workspace on new blades, but it's been fundamentally designed for ease of application, hasn't it?
And that's also a very important thing, because if they need to shut down a wind park, take down a blade, move to a warehouse, it will easily take weeks, and of course the cost will be extremely high.
Yeah.
But now what we have seen on the 2 wind parks is they manage to do 2 to 2.5 blade in a long day's shift.
Right. Okay.
So and of course we are aiming to train them even more. They get to use the products even more. The aim is to do 3 blades a day.
Wow. Okay. Good. So
2 guys and 3 blades.
Yeah. Okay. So you mentioned there some of your customers obviously have adopted the product now as their kind of go-to protection solution. What were the key standouts that made it different from what was currently on the market, what was being used by your customers?
Some of the products they have used before has a different kind of structure and finish.
Okay.
Which led to quite high level of maintenance.
Yeah.
So they wanted to try another solution which has a much longer lifespan, of course.
Okay.
Because then they can save time and money.
Yeah. Excellent. Cool. So a lot of the applications that this product has been designed for then will be for the repair of already damaged blades. I know we mentioned then before that it was.
Sorry to interrupt you, but at one of the parks they have even coated a blade with 5721 that was in perfect condition. They just wanted to put on 5721 up front to make sure they have a longer lifetime on that specific blade.
Brilliant. Okay. Do you know what that serves a perfect example actually? So the 5721 is the coating product is designed there for the protection aspect against this kind of rain erosion problem. But we're talking about in situ application. The protection aspect isn't the whole story, is it? There is an aspect where if you have particularly heavy damage on a blade, there is I believe the term is pitting.
Say again, please. It's raining quite a lot here at the moment. So.
No problem. I was gonna. Yeah, well, we're talking about the extensive rain in Norway, and obviously we can hear it. Yeah, so heavily damaged blades, you get quite like a lot of pitting damage, I think is the term.
Yeah.
Is that where would you use 5721 to repair that, or are there other methods?
No. What we have seen is if there is a deeper damage that goes a bit deeper than just the surface, we need to have we need to have a solution for that as well. So up to now we have presented 1221 as the pit filling solution to create an even and smooth surface before the 5721 goes on top. Okay,
excellent. So that is that's as opposed to a coating product, that is more of a paste.
Yeah, the 1221 is a paste grade, and it has a very short time before you have to use it. It hardens in a couple of minutes.
Yeah.
So for smaller damages, 1221 is quite okay.
Yeah.
But of course, if we have bigger areas with deeper damages, then we, as you know, Belzona have started to develop 5711.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Which we have tested on 2 parks, and the feedback so far is 5711 is extremely good. Saves a lot of time, and it goes 100% together with 5721.
Fantastic. So yeah, again for listeners, 5711 is I believe is Belzona's first paste grade product that has been specifically designed for this type of application, for the application on wind turbine blades to rebuild the profile of kind of damage caused by rain erosion.
And that's as we talked about in the beginning. If they do not do the leading edge repair in time, then it will create deeper damages where you have to use other materials to fix it.
Yeah. Okay. And you mentioned the kind of the way that these products kind of work together. They've very much kind of been specifically designed to kind of interact in terms of ease of use. So the paste grade or do the pitting?
Yeah. The good thing about it is you can bring 5711 and 5721 up in the lift. Then you need to do the brushing and all that up front, clean everything properly. You can apply 5711, wait the time it needs to be cured, and then you can apply 5721 directly on top of it.
Yeah.
And that of course saves a lot of time. You don't have to use a grinder again or polish it and prepare it. You can use it in more or less one operation.
So there's that chemical bond between the two products.
Yeah. So it's, and now after we did the various tests, as you know, with 5711 this year, the feedback on that one is also perfect. So we have a very good combination of two products to go to all the wind parks to start the promotion even more.
Yeah, and you mentioned there the kind of time saving. Is that the real value in these products?
The time saving and also the cost of products. Our products is not that expensive compared to if they can take 3 blades in a day. It's a huge saving for the operator. Yeah,
fantastic. So I know you mentioned for Beltec and the work you're doing in Norway. You know, the past 2 years you've started to really kind of get into the industry, and this problem is kind of been cropping up. Do you see it continuing to be an issue, or even like a growing issue going into the future?
We will never get away from the issue with rain erosion.
Yeah.
There will be even more and more wind parks here in Norway and globally, I guess.
Yeah.
Of course, 5721 will need, after a certain amount of period, it needs a new coating on top of it.
Yeah.
But of course, it will be an ongoing market.
Yeah.
And especially after the warranty period on the wind parks, typical 3 to 5 years, it's more or less up to the wind park to decide what to use. So there will be big opportunities moving forward. But of course we have competition, but that's a part of the game.
Yeah, brilliant. Paul, thank you very much for your time. Really, really appreciate you.
No problem. Let me know if we can assist with anything else.
Brilliant. Thank you very much.
Perfect. Okay. Bye.
Well, that brings us to the end of today's episode. I hope you guys enjoyed the content as always. Don't forget to like, subscribe, or simply follow the podcast on your go-to provider. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. For any more information on anything that we've discussed today, please head to the Belzona website, www.belzona.com. And as a reminder, if you guys have any feedback for us, if you have any questions on anything we've spoken about, or you've got any input in terms of future topic and content that you want us to cover, you can get in touch on our brand new podcast email address, which is podcast@belzona.com. Just like to finish off by thanking the two guests today, Mr. Alex Murillo and Paul Flax from Beltec. Thank you guys for listening, and until next time, goodbye.